Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Friends, before going into the details of the war, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell. Please support by subscribing and turning on the notification bell. We are a strong community. Romania rejects Putin's false statements that the country has territorial claims against Ukraine. Bucharest has described as absolute nonsense a statement by Russian dictator Vladimir Putin about Romania having territorial claims against Ukraine, the Romanian Ministry of Foreign Affairs said in a message on its website posted on November 5. During his speech on Russia's Day of National Unity in Moscow on November 4, Putin talked of Ukraine's supposed territorial disputes with Poland, Romania and Hungary over areas that were lost after the Second World War. We're talking about the territories taken away from Poland by Stalin after the Second World War. We have to admit it. Large areas were seized by the Soviets in Romania and Hungary, the dictator said, apparently projecting Kremlin geopolitical ambitions onto other states. Romania's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in contrast said Romania fully supports the independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. It also condemned the current Russian armed aggression against Ukraine. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Romania rejects the assertions expressed by the President of the Russian Federation in a speech given on the occasion of the National Unity Day, which falsely induced the idea that Romania has territorial claims against Ukraine, the Romanian Foreign Ministry said in its post. The Romanian Foreign Ministry emphasizes that the war of aggression launched by Russia on February 24 represents a serious and brutal violation of the principles of international law, including the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine, the post added. U.S. sends planes to Iran reacting potential threats to Saudi Arabia. WP amid intelligence reports of possible Iranian attacks on targets in Saudi Arabia, the U.S. deployed warplanes towards Iran. Such a step helps to increase the overall alert status of U.S. and Saudi forces, according to the Washington Post. The deployment happened while there were intelligence reports about the possible use of ballistic missiles and drones by Iran. It is emphasized that such activity by the U.S. forces in the region proves the importance of the partnership between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia despite the controversy between the two states related to oil production. The oil disagreements regarded OPEC's decision to cut production by 2 million barrels a day. The White House believed that this would trigger higher prices and would be beneficial for Russia. Washington also stated that such cuts happened at the moment the United States and its allies were trying to choke off Moscow's oil revenues. The Washington Post emphasizes that oil, and Saudi Arabia's influence on the global market, hold second place, following the U.S. strategic interests in the Persian Gulf. The kingdom plays a central role in countering Iranian aggression. Washington does not discuss the details of the operation to overturn the planes. The United States maintains significant air forces in the region, including F-22 fighter jets in Saudi Arabia. However, the location from which they got off the ground remained unknown. U.S. Central Command spokesman Joe Buccio said the U.S. is committed to a multi-year strategic military partnership with Saudi Arabia, but declined to comment on the matter. We will not discuss the details of the operation, Buccio said. There are about 2,500 U.S. forces now in Saudi Arabia, many of them involved in high-tech intelligence work and training. The United States is the supplier of nearly 3/4 of all weapon systems used by the Saudi military, including constantly needed parts, repairs and upgrades. As previously reported, Iran acknowledges the supply of drones to Russia, but allegedly it was even before the invasion of the Russian Federation into Ukraine. With full loss of power, water, heating still possible, Kyiv authorities ask citizens to stock up on essentials. Residents of the Ukrainian capital Kyiv should stock up on essentials and be prepared to evacuate the city if Russian missile attacks knock out power, heat and water supplies completely, Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko said on national television on November 5. We're doing our best to avoid it, full blackout, Klitschko said. But frankly speaking, Our enemy is doing everything possible to leave the city without heating, electricity and water supplies. In general, it's doing all it can to erase us from the face of the earth. The mayor said that like the authorities, citizens should be prepared for any possible scenario. He said the city had prepared a large stock of diesel fuel, power generators, food, and drinking water. About 1,000 heating points are being prepared for deployment across the city should the city's centralized heating system be knocked out. Still, this would not be enough, he said. So I'm also appealing to people, in the worst-case scenario without power and water supply in the city, think about going to your relatives and friends in Kyiv's outskirts or further, those with independent utilities. It would be better to agree to spend some time there in the worst-case scenario. He also urged Kyivans to stock up on drinking and technical water, food, charged power banks and warm clothes. According to Klitschko, about 3 million people now live in the capital, and many more people commute there in daytime from the suburbs. In the aftermath of Russians' targeted mass attacks on Ukrainian energy infrastructure, rolling blackouts were put in place, especially in Kyiv and nearby regions. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that as of November 1st, Russia had damaged about 40% of Ukraine's energy facilities. U.S. privately told Ukraine to be open to talks with Russia. Report U.S. request to Kyiv is to maintain a moral high ground in the eyes of its international backers, says Washington Post. The U.S. privately told Ukraine to be open to talks with Russia, asking officials in Kyiv to abandon peace talks conditioned to Russian President Vladimir Putin's removal from office, according to a report Saturday. The Washington Post, citing those familiar with the discussions, said officials from the Biden administration do not intend to push Ukraine to the negotiating table. Rather, they called it a calculated attempt to ensure the government in Kyiv maintains the support of other nations facing constituencies wary of fueling a war for many years to come, it said. The encouragement is aimed not at pushing Ukraine to the negotiating table, but ensuring it maintains a moral high ground in the eyes of its international backers. The report said the Biden administration's position on Ukraine is complex and U.S. officials hope for a resolution, which it noted, heavily affects the global economy and has prompted fears of a nuclear war. The report came one day after U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan visited Ukraine for meetings with President Volodymyr Zelensky and his senior officials, according to the White House. During his visit, Sullivan emphasized the United States' steadfast support to Ukraine and its people as they defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity, National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson said in a statement. Low-quality forgery, Warsaw debunks fake about graffiti with Zelensky. A picture showing a 3D graffiti with Volodymyr Zelensky allegedly on one of the central streets of Poland's capital with the caption, "A black hole," named after Zelensky was found in Warsaw, went viral on Telegram channels of Russian mass media and top propagandists. Google Maps helped to determine the geolocation of the place we see in the picture. It is the intersection of Zalata Street and John Paul II Avenue. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.